welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. In today's episode, we will be reviewing She-Hulk series finale. And if you guys make it in, please remember to like and share. And also check out our other reviews. We reviewed everything that She-Hulk has to offer, some good, some bad. And yeah, we have a good amount of thoughts to say about this series finale. So Dylan, start off. Tell us your thoughts.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed in this series finale. Like, I kind of wanted a little more. I get what they were trying to do with this episode, but I kind of wish that what they were doing with it, they had done this like earlier, like maybe like in episode 1. So for this, I felt like it was kind of weak for a finale. I truly believe the last episode before it with Daredevil was the best episode. But there were a few highlights from it. But yeah, tell me your take on this season finale.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, this is one of my favorite episodes from the whole season thus far. The reason is this was completely mindless fun. Like, I had so much fun watching this. And the other episode, I felt like it gave good opportunity to humanize Jennifer Walters even more, right? Because she was humiliated. If you guys hear my dogs barking in the background, I'm very sorry for that. But yeah, this episode was just mindless fun, I feel. And it makes me think, was this the point after all? Was this the point to, like, the whole show was supposed to be kind of bad, kind of silly, right? Just to have fun of it, fun with it. Like, the other shows meant something. Maybe this, you know.
And that's why I was kind of disappointed thinking on that. I was like, is this intentional? Is this supposed to be like a commentary on like Marvel? Is it trying to be like self-aware, but like they're not really like going anywhere with it? So that's why I was really confused about it. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, and some people might enjoy this episode, like you said, like yourself. That's fine. But for me, I just felt like it was trying to wrap up this story, and it did it in a very rushed and convoluted way, and it didn't really like solve anything. So it felt like really like I was kind of disappointed. I was like, you know, went through 9 weeks, you know, with this show, and just to finally see where this show was headed, and then it kind of just dropped this like weak punchline on me. But yeah, I'm sure you feel differently. But,
yeah, well, so it was very, like, that's probably the most fourth wall breaking I've ever seen in my life. I mean, compared to Deadpool, this was like actually going to the writer's room and then the creator himself, Kevin Feige, which I thought was hilarious.
They spit on Kevin.
What did you think of seeing the most powerful being in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe right there? And She-Hulk was the first person, I guess, to meet him.
I'm kind of mad it wasn't Kevin himself. They could have at least gave me that, but it was like this weird like robot thing. It was kind of funny, but like I just felt like they threw it in the middle of the episode. Like, I was like, oh, okay, is She-Hulk gonna fight Abomination or Todd, and then Titania like came in all of a sudden, and then fucking Bruce came out of nowhere after like he's been like AWOL the whole season, and then he's apparently like shorter than Abomination, which I thought was weird. And then in the middle of all this, I thought my Disney Plus subscription like froze or some shit.
I know,
because they showed the screen
right
with all the shows and shit. I was like, oh fuck, did my Wi-Fi like this or my VPN was it like connecting to Somalia or some shit? Like, so it was weird. I mean, it was kind of funny. Yeah. I could get why some people liked it, but I don't know. It's just weird because because she went to Marvel Studios as She-Hulk and not like as the actress name. So it was like, it's weird. They were fourth wall breaking, but they're still in the Marvel universe somehow. So it's like, it's a weird like universe crossover. I have no idea, but I thought the robot was kind of funny, but I don't know. What did you think about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, one could take it as perhaps like the actress doesn't exist. Perhaps the character only exists. Like, I think it's something we shouldn't really look into that much. It's just like a funny joke of like fourth wall breaking, especially with the NDA thing that they were mentioning and the endless like scrolling to find like where to sign, all that stuff. Even seeing like the Marvel Studios like headquarters right there, I thought was a great treat because I never really actually like peeped inside. There's like plenty of references in this episode. Again, it's just like really fun. I guess you're not supposed to take away something from it. The only thing you're supposed to take away from it was that it's just great, mindless fun. And I think that if that's what they were trying to shoot for all this time, maybe I didn't see that coming. Because I thought they were really trying to do something at first a lot with like feministic ideologies or notions. And then they went more into, okay, well, she, an identity crisis perhaps. And then all of a sudden we get into fourth wall break. I'm going to change the outcome of the story because Bruce crashing through the ceiling doesn't make sense. So that doesn't make sense, Kevin. What are we going to do about that? And also Todd becoming a Hulk. That I don't like that, right? So she changed that. I think that happened in the comics at one point. I think there was like a point where she rips out the pages in the comics. So I think that's what it's really kind of like, it's funny because it's like, this is the contemporary, as you say, iteration of She-Hulk. And instead of a comic book page, she rips out the Disney Plus dashboard, which I still find hilarious. I think the whole thing I think it was pretty funny. I wanted to get your thoughts too, because so last episode wasn't the last time we see Daredevil, right? It's this episode too. We actually get to see Charlie Cox return. And we also see a surprise guest. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Charlie back for another episode. I thought last episode he was kind of done, but yeah, they threw him back. I mean, it was mainly like a cameo. He didn't do anything like relevant except like the dad was like, "Oh, like what do you do? How much money do you make?" Right? So it's kind of setting him and Jen up. But yeah, so Bruce comes back. He makes an appearance, and then they're kind of having this, like, this family picnic, and then Bruce Banner comes back from Sakaar. And apparently he has a son, so he brought his son Scar, who's also in the comics. Yeah, I know you were probably hyped to see him. What did you think about him?
Yeah, well, I know he's for sure a badass character in the comics. We didn't get much from him. I was disappointed by that because I was like, well, that's a pretty significant character. And it's just like this guy, I forgot the actress's name. He's like in some show. He's like a young kid. He's quite popular. But they brought him there. I like his design. It's very different. It's very like native, like to, Sakaar. I like the redesign. I just wonder, like, that must be awkward. Like, is that guy a killer? Are you bringing a convict there? Like in a family, like barbecue, right? Where's Vin Diesel?
Right.
Like he needs to protect you guys. Cause he was just like this, like, looking at everybody.
You know what? It would have been funny if like Drax was there and like he thought he was like his other kid or some shit because he's green. That would have been so funny.
Right,
He's just like eating chips like slowly.
See, they wasted the opportunity too. They could have had El Mocadorón, dun 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 dun. They could have had the Fast and Furious song there and like have random characters like Daffy Duck if they choose. I don't know.
Shit. We should have wrote this episode. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he was. There's not much to say on Scar. Kevin mentioned, which is funny that we're referring now to Kevin for real. Kevin mentioned that in the movie we'll get to know more, or like something will lead into, I guess, Hulk's movie, right? We know Universal's soon going to give up the rights for the Incredible Hulk. And also Jennifer Walters mentioned X-Men, which was really hilarious to see. As a little jab, I was like, yeah, I wish Kevin told us about that too. I was so mad. Like, give us something at least.
Well, what did you think of the end credits scene when so Emil went back to prison and then he went to Kamertage with Wong? I mean, it was kind of like a fun thing. They even break the fourth wall too. They're like, oh yeah, it's this what the series does, right?
Right.
But yeah, what do you think of that scene? It was just kind of like, do you think they'll do something with that?
No, I'm glad Emil could, he left, right? I didn't want him to be kept in captivity forever. They probably won't do something with that. Like, Emil is basically like a punchline throughout the whole series. I feel like I want to see him. I don't know. I think you can make him into a compelling villain. If he's so goofy now, imagine what will set him off into like a path of villainy later on, or unless he goes wild. We could see more of him. It's just weird, the fact that he's going to go there out of all places. I never seen that in the comics before, like him getting involved. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comics.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's why I say it was kind of disappointing, because it's like Jen went through that whole arc of getting him out of parole, and then he's suddenly back in jail, and then back right where we started with Wong. So it's like it went full circle. So it's like I feel like a lot of like plot threads were kind of redundant, like the whole intelligentsia thing. Like, why did fucking Todd like start this?
That was just fast.
Like,
yeah.
It was so rushed. And then like Jen, like she was on parole, and then like suddenly she can use her powers again.
Right.
Like it was like in a blink of an eye. But I don't know. I didn't think too much about it. I mean, This whole series, like, I've just kind of like slept on, to be honest with you. But how would you rank this episode, and how would you rate the series overall?
Well, that's what I was actually going to ask you. I was going to ask you, what are your main critiques for the whole series? Because we didn't have much to go off of this episode in general. What will you did different? As for me, this episode, I would honestly rank. I'm going to give it a high score, probably the highest score I ever give it. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because I didn't care for it much. Yeah, I didn't care for it much. I just had fun with it, right? I kind of like, I left my brain in the garbage bin every time when I watched this. So this is what I did now. And yeah, for me, it was just mindless fun. And I wonder if that's the point of the whole series now. But I think it's weird because they had a lot of that feminist stuff, strong woman stuff, and finding your identity stuff. So what are your main criticisms with the series, and also how do you think it should have ended at least?
I don't know how I would rewrite it, but I think they were trying to talk about those issues you were talking about, but that's why I say this episode just felt like a waste. It was like so nothing really changed or nothing matters. Like, okay, so and she just got like her job back like all of a sudden. So it was kind of like that's why I like the beginning of this episode, because we actually saw Jennifer like struggling, and I actually like felt bad for her. And I was like, oh fuck. And then I kind of wanted to see her like get through that like on her own. I mean, I guess she kind of did because she broke the fourth wall, but I don't know. How I would rank it, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, to be honest. Like, it didn't really like enthrall me. For like, I have high bars for finales because it has to make sense within the story. I mean, some people will probably feel differently, and that's fine. I mean, I get what they were trying to do, I guess. Well, not even really. I'm not sure what they were trying to do. Honest. I guess it's like, I guess they were trying to make commentary. Like, I know She-Hulk, like in the comics, she breaks the fourth wall like Deadpool, but I feel like even Deadpool did it better somehow because it still made sense in a way.
It's linear. It's like following the path, right? This didn't.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like okay, so what did she really achieve at the end of this, right? Okay, she got the powers of the Hulk, and she became a female lawyer, which she already was in the beginning. So I don't really know. I guess to wrap this up, I can't even give it a rank, to be honest, or a rating, because I'm not sure. I guess, like you said, maybe it was just like mindless fun, and we're not supposed to think about it. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I wish. Yeah, I think I wanted something different, is what I'm saying. But yeah,
I completely agree with you. Yeah, you heard it from Dylan himself. And yeah, so guys, if you made it to end, please remember to like and share. And also check out our other reviews for She-Hulk if you're so inclined to. Yeah, this was a pretty weird series to review. Honestly, it was such a drag, but we made it through, right? So we got one down at least.
So to quote Frodo, it's done. It's over.
It's done. It's over, guys.
It's done, Mr. Frodo.
Well, Mr. Dylan, yeah, we still have to review more episodes for Andor, more episodes for Handmaid's Tale. At least those are way better than She-Hulk. And yeah, we have plenty of other shows to review. And yeah, Dylan, please take it away.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning in for this review. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube, but you can also follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. You can check out our other Marvel reviews as well. We've done Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and so many other shows already. We have a lot of great content. We're actually reviewing Halloween Ends right after this recording, so stay tuned for that. And we have a lot of great content planned for the rest of the month. So, spooky season, guys. So thank you so much. And until then, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.